Walk into any crowded cafe, and you will see the modern baseline of human behavior. Someone is frantically angling their phone, chasing perfect lighting for a selfie. But just a few feet away, someone else sits in complete silence, their phone face down on the table, living entirely in the offline present. In an ecosystem built on attention, we tend to view the quiet ones with suspicion. We see a blank photo grid or an abandoned feed and often assume the person behind it is antisocial, uninteresting, or perhaps just lonely. But researchers are finding that stepping away from the digital spotlight is rarely an accident. For many, staying invisible online is a calculated decision that reveals a specific type of internal mindset. Digital invisibility can be a sign that a person has shifted their source of validation. Instead of looking to a digital crowd for approval, they may be relying on an internal sense of identity that doesn't require a public announcement to feel real. In a world where constant connection is the default, choosing to be off suggests a preference for peace over performance. It raises the possibility that for some, the most grounded life is the one that stays completely off camera. To understand the motivation behind staying hidden, we have to look at the mechanics of the platforms themselves. Social media is an artificial ecosystem constructed exclusively from curated highlight reels, a world of constant filtered peaks. Psychologists point to social comparison theory as the reason these highlights can be so draining. It describes the innate human drive to measure our own standing by looking at those around us. You view a highlight reel, measure your reality against that peak, and experience anxiety. To soothe it, you scroll again. Private individuals recognize this treadmill. By not engaging, they shatter that connection, protecting their mental space. Staying low-key isn't about hiding. It's a practical strategy to prioritize mental clarity over a game of digital performance that is, by design, impossible to win. While opting out avoids the trap, it doesn't explain the confidence required to stay quiet. That comes from a specific internal framework. This is known as an internal locus of evaluation. An external locus tips with every like, but an internal locus is supported by a solid core, judging worth by personal standards. This creates self-concept clarity. Because the core is stable, incoming opinions or digital trends don't sway them. When you have the ability to validate your own progress, the urge to crowdsource approval from strangers starts to disappear. Digital validation becomes a tool you don't need to use. This mindset is usually the result of deliberate daily habits that anchor a person's identity in the physical world. The first habit is experiencing joy in private. When these individuals have a personal win or a beautiful moment, they don't reach for a phone. By not photographing the moment for an audience, they keep the emotion genuine. They let the experience belong to them, rather than turning it into content for others. They also lean into introspection. They spend time in offline activities, like journaling or reading, that require them to confront their own thoughts without the distraction of a notifications feed. These quiet periods act as a filter. They remove the noise of what the world expects, allowing the person's own values to come into focus. Finally, they prioritize real-world resonance. They focus their energy on tangible goals and deep one-on-one relationships that provide feedback through actual human connection. Consistently practicing these habits changes a person's relationship with the digital world. When a life is built on these offline foundations, the pressure to seek validation begins to lose its power. Ultimately, a lack of digital presence doesn't mean a person is missing out. It means they don't require a public platform to confirm that their life is meaningful. In a culture of constant self-promotion, the most grounded people are often the ones we see the least. They have found a way to feel complete without an audience. Real confidence doesn't need to be loud. You don't have to be seen by the internet to know that you are seen. If you want to understand the psychology behind why we do what we do, hit subscribe. We'll keep decoding the mind, one insight at